Right now, somewhere on Earth, a stadium is full. 80,000 people screaming at 22 humans chasing a ball. Billions more watching on screens. And every single one of them feeling something ancient and electric they cannot fully explain. We call it sport. But competition did not start with stadiums. It did not start with trophies, medals, or referees. It started long before any of that. And what ancient humans competed for makes the World Cup look like a school play. There were 4 ways ancient humans competed, and the 4th one will completely change how you see sport forever. But before we get there, we need to answer one question first. What were they actually competing for? Because this is where most people get it completely wrong. The strangest part is that ancient humans never chose to compete. They had no choice. Competition was not entertainment, it was survival. To understand this, you have to picture the world 100,000 years ago. No cities, no countries, no leagues or seasons. Just small bands of 20 to 50 people moving constantly across enormous landscapes searching for food. You knew everyone in your group personally. Every skill, every weakness, every failure, every time someone succeeded, every time someone let the group down. There was no hiding. There was no privacy. There was no second chance at a first impression. Now imagine you are one of those people. Your entire world is 50 humans. That is it. No government to protect you, no supermarket to feed you, no hospital to heal you, no police to call, no court to appeal to. Just 50 people. And everything you need to survive comes from how much those 50 people trust you, value you, respect you. That is what status meant in the ancient world. Not followers, not money, not a title on a business card. Status meant this person is worth protecting, this person is worth feeding, this person is worth choosing. Think about it this way. After a successful hunt, there is not enough meat for everyone to eat as much as they want. Someone decides who gets the best pieces. That someone is the highest status person in the group. Not the strongest necessarily, the most respected. When danger came at night and the group had to decide who stood guard and who slept safely, the highest status person slept safely. The lowest status person stood in the dark holding a spear, hoping nothing came out of the trees. When it was time to choose a partner, the highest status person had the most options. The lowest status person had the fewest. This is why status was not just social, status was biological. Lose your status and you lose access to food, protection, and reproduction. Gain your status and everything becomes easier. In a world where every single day could be your last, that mattered more than anything we compete for today. And the only way to earn it was to compete, every single day, in front of everyone you knew, with everything on the line. So what did ancient humans actually compete in? The answer is not what you expect. The first competition involves something your body can still do today that no other animal on Earth can match. The most visible competition was the hunt, and what ancient humans could do in a hunt will change how you think about your own body. Humans are not the fastest animals on Earth. We are not the strongest. A horse leaves us behind in seconds. A cheetah is not even funny. But change the question from who is fastest to who can keep going the longest and everything changes. Humans are among the best endurance runners on Earth. Our bodies are built for it in ways most people never think about. We cool ourselves through sweating while moving. We do not have to stop to cool down. We can stay active for hours in hot conditions that force other animals to rest. Anthropologists believe this gave our ancestors a critical advantage. This is called persistence hunting, and it is one of the most remarkable abilities any creature on Earth has ever possessed. Ancient hunters would chase a single animal for hours, sometimes an entire day, running through heat, across rocky ground, through rivers, reading every track, anticipating every turn, until the animal could not run anymore, until it stopped and stood still, and looked at the human still standing in front of it. The San people of southern Africa still do this today. The best persistence hunters in the group became legends, not because they were the strongest, not because they were the fastest, because they never stopped. Because when every muscle in their body told them to quit, they kept going. That quality, that refusal to give in, was the quality the whole group needed to survive, and everyone knew who had it and who did not. But physical endurance was not the most important competition ancient humans had. The most important one happened at night, around a fire, and it had absolutely nothing to do with strength. Stay with me because this one will shock you. In 2017, researchers from University College London studied the Agta people of the Philippines, one of the last hunter-gatherer groups on Earth. They wanted to understand what made someone valuable in a group with no money, no possessions, no status symbols. What they found changed everything. The best storytellers in the group had significantly more children than everyone else, more partners, more influence, more trust, more of everything that mattered. Not the strongest, not the fastest, the best storytellers. Because in a world without books, without schools, without the internet, a story was not entertainment. It was survival information wrapped in something the human brain could not ignore. A story about where the water was last dry season. A story about which plant healed a wound and which one made it worse. A story about what happens when the group stops trusting each other. All of it wrapped in characters, tension, and meaning. the person who could hold a group's attention, who could make people feel something, who could make them laugh and grieve and remember. That person was not just popular, they were essential. They were the memory of the group, they were the teacher, the historian, and the leader all at once. Think about the commentator whose voice makes a match feel like history. The manager whose speech before a final sends players onto the field ready to give everything they have. The journalist whose words make you feel like you were there even though you were not. That brain was shaped beside a fire 100,000 years ago. You are watching the same competition, just in a bigger stadium. Now here is the third competition, and this one will make you rethink everything you know about who wins. Everything we have talked about so far, the hunting, the endurance, the storytelling, all of it was pointing toward one thing, not victory but trust. In a band of 50 people where your life depended on the humans around you, trust was the most valuable thing that existed. More valuable than strength, more valuable than speed, more valuable than anything. And the way you earn trust was not by winning every single time. Studies of hunter-gatherer societies consistently find the same extraordinary thing. The highest status individuals in the group are almost never the strongest or the fastest. They are the most generous. The hunter who brought back the most meat and shared every piece of it. The person who stayed awake through the night, caring for a sick child that was not their own. The person who ran back into danger to help someone who could not keep up. These were not the people doing the most impressive things. They were the people who showed, again and again, that the group mattered more than they did. Generosity was not kindness. It was the fiercest competition of all. The modern athlete who wins and celebrates alone would have been the lowest status person in an ancient human group. The athlete who wins and immediately lifts their teammate onto their shoulders. That person would have been the leader, not because they won, because of what they did the moment after winning. And the fourth competition, the one I promised at the beginning, is the reason you are still watching sport today. So why do we still feel it? Why does a penalty shootout make a grown adult unable to breathe? Why does watching someone else win make us feel something that close to joy? Why does a loss feel personal even when you never played a single minute? Because your brain is not watching sport. Your brain is watching a proxy for something it was built to care about. Status, endurance, trust. The things that once determined whether you lived or died. The things that still feel like they matter even when they no longer determine survival. The neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky spent decades studying the biology of competition. His finding was this: when your team wins, your testosterone rises almost as much as if you competed yourself. Your brain does not fully distinguish between watching and doing. It never learned to, because for most of human history there was no such thing as watching. There was only competing. There were no spectators in the ancient world. Everyone was in the game. Everyone's survival depended on the outcome. The crowd at a World Cup final carrying flags and scarves and face paint is doing exactly what 50 people on a grassland did 100,000 years ago. Watching one of their own compete, needing them to win, feeling everything. In 1921, archaeologists excavating a tomb in Beni Hassan in Egypt found paintings covering the walls. Over 4,000 years old, they showed two men wrestling, a referee standing beside them, a crowd of people watching, the same tension on every face that you see in a stadium today, the same leaning forward, the same held breath, the same desperate need to know who wins. That painting is 4,000 years old. The feeling inside it is much older. Tonight, when you watch someone compete and feel something rise in your chest that you cannot fully explain, you are not watching sport. You are remembering something your body has always known. That the person who never stops running feeds the whole group. That the person who tells the best story shapes the direction of everything. That the person who wins and gives it away is the one everyone chooses to follow. We built stadiums around that feeling. We gave it names and rules and trophies. We invented entire industries around it. But the feeling was never about any of that. It was about 50 people on a grassland watching one of their own push further than anyone thought possible and silently deciding. That is who we follow. That is who we trust. That is who we compete to become.